wanted to do a quick video about vitamin B6. Now, many of the supplements that we're taking that we think might be anti-inflammatory can actually be inflammatory, depending on the context, right? So I've had experience with CoQ10 and vitamin B6 and some of the complex B vitamins. And it turns out that some of these things that are thought to be or purported to be anti-inflammatory, they can also be inflammatory depending on the context. Well, I wrote this book. It's called The Ketogenic Advantage Blueprint. It's not about a keto diet. It's not about, it's not a cookbook. I mean, it could have been, but it's about the advantages of keto adapting, right? And the premise of the ebook is that, most of us are walking around and we're slightly always inflammatory. And so the ketogenic advantage blueprint helps you get to the point where you're in the middle and you know where you stand, and you're not going to always be inflammatory, or you're not going to always be in an inflamed state and not know it, right? You want to get to the point where you're zeroed out and you can get a baseline. You can go from there, right? So I rely upon the principles of this ebook consistently to help me restructure my my wellness or my fitness plans for the coming weeks, right? So CoQ10. So I went to a doctor. We were going through this issue with IVF, and the doctor prescribed me CoQ10, right? And it's supposed to be the anti-inflammatory, and it's just something to be safe. It's a supplement. You think it's really safe. Well, I took CoQ10 and I felt my skin bleeding, right? My skin felt a little bit like raw and was bleeding. And I went to the doctor and I was like, look, this CoQ10 is kind of bad. I probably shouldn't be taking it. And the doctor's response was, well, probably it's the brand that you're taking. Take another different brand and you might have a different result. Well, I took a different brand and I had a different result. I went to the pharmacy and I looked on the shelf, it's over the counter. I looked on the shelf and I picked out the CoQ10. I went home and I took it, and sure enough, I mean, it had a different effect, but it still had an inflammatory effect, right? And so I did a little research and I found out that CoQ10 can be inflammatory or anti-inflammatory depending on the context. And I was like overwhelmed with like, oh my God, no one knows this. Like the doctor didn't even tell me this, right? So I also take B complex vitamins quite often, and I later on found out that some of the B complex vitamins, or at least B complex vitamins that you're taking in the complex, it can be inflammatory. For me, it's not as inflammatory as your Q10. Sometimes my skin does feel a little bit, inflamed, but not totally inflamed. But CoQ10, cause bleeding for me, right? And so one of the things that I've come to notice is that CoQ10 and vitamin B6 are coenzymes, and CoQ10 is important in vitamin B6 is important, and depending on the context, right? And so vitamin B6 is has several benefits, but I want to talk about the anti-inflammatory and pro-inflammatory aspects. And so I asked my Koala AI, is vitamin B6 inflammatory? Here's the question. Is it true that vitamin B6 is inflammatory or anti-inflammatory depending on the context? Cite relevant sources in MLA format. And Koala responded with, yes, that is correct. Vitamin B6 can have both inflammatory and anti-inflammatory effects depending on the context. According to a review article by Calder et al. 2017, vitamin B6 can act as an anti-inflammatory agent by modulating the production of cytokines and chemokines, which are involved in the inflammatory response. However, in certain conditions, such as rheumatoid arthritis, high doses of vitamin B6 may actually increase inflammation. Calder et al. 2017. Another study by Lee et al. 2018 investigated the effects of vitamin B6 on inflammation in obese individuals. The study found that vitamin B6 supplementation reduced inflammation in obese individuals with metabolic syndrome, but had no effect on inflammation in obese individuals without metabolic syndrome. Overall effects of vitamin B6 on inflammation appear to be context dependent and require further research. Now, you can check out my ebook, The Ketogenic Advantage Blueprint, if you want to understand my perspective on keto adapting. And these sources were from Calder from 2017 and Lee from 2018. So I also asked ChatGPT, what are the benefits of vitamin B6? So there's a lot of benefits, and I wanted to understand the neuroprotective or the neuroregenerative benefits of vitamin B6, right? So I asked ChatGPT, and I'm going to walk over and I'm going to ask the question. And the question goes like this. Let's see. I'm going to ask it, what are some of the benefits of vitamin B6? And I'm going to ask it to cite relevant sources in MLA format. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT about vitamin B6. It talks about vitamin B6 here. It says vitamin B6, also known as pyridoxine, plays a crucial role in various bodily functions, including metabolism, immune system function, and the production of neurotransmitters. According to the National Institute of Health, some of the benefits of vitamin B6 include supporting brain development and function, reducing the risk of heart disease, supporting healthy skin and hair, reducing symptoms of PMS. And the source is from NIH, and that source is specifically from 2021. I'm going to ask it to elaborate a little bit more on how it helps support brain development and function. Describe and define and describe. Pyridoxine is one of the forms of vitamin B6, which is an essential nutrient required for various bodily functions. It is involved in the metabolism of amino acids, the synthesis of neurotransmitters, and the maintenance of the immune system. According to a study published in the Journal of Neurochemistry, the mechanism by which pyridoxine plays a role in the production of neurotransmitters involves the conversion of the amino acid tryptophan into serotonin and the conversion of the amino acid tyrosine into dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. Pyridoxine is a cofactor for the enzymes involved in these reactions, which are known as aromatic L amino acid decarboxylase and tyrosine hydroxylase, respectively. And these sources are from Bettendorf from 2009, Gardner from 1978, Spector from 1977, and the Journal of Neurochemistry from 2021. B6 you can get from food, but most recently I've been into B6 because I understood that it can help with neurotransmitter. It can help. Well, it says here it helps with the production of neurotransmitters. And my issue is, as a triathlete, I was doing triathlons, and when I was training, like I was riding my bike. I was riding my bike 300 miles a week. I was running 30 miles a week, and I was in the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I was stretching and doing resistance training and doing speed training on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I stopped doing that for a while, and then I got hit by a car, and I didn't recover well from the injury from the car because I started going to school. I was trying to get a second bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. And so I found recently that stretching can benefit the nervous system, right? And so I've been doing these stretches. Maybe I'll do another video to update my progress, but I've been doing these stretches maybe 5 minutes before I get on a bike and start riding. Right, I'm cycling training and in the gym. I'm trying to get up to speed to where I can ride, 21 miles an hour for an hour. Right. So anyway, I've been doing stretches, and I've realized that my nervous system has gotten a lot better. Like I sleep better and I walk a lot better. I don't walk with a limp as much as I used to. And I used to walk with a cane many, many years ago, about 10 years ago or so. Biggest thing that I've discovered is stretching helps with the nervous system and recovery. And I've learned that dehydration plays a role in a lot of this because you want nutrients to be delivered to where it needs to go. And vitamin B6, it can be pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory. So typically I would eat it with a meal only. And having a ketogenic disposition, I find that I can eat more carbs when I consume vitamin B6, right? Anyway, that's it for this video. If you need help reaching your fitness goals, There's resources on this channel. There's resources at iHeartGains.com. There's resources in this video. I cited the sources earlier. So I'm Smitty. I hope you reach your fitness goals, and I'll talk to you in the next one.